Welcome to the Airgun Show. This week's test gun is a real fistful of fun, the Crosman Iceman Pistol. But before that, I'm out shooting rats with night vision gear. Right, we're out rat shooting on the trout farm again tonight. We were here a few weeks ago for what I didn't expect to be much more than an early season recce, but we actually saw quite a few more rats than I'd expected. Conditions don't look quite so promising tonight. It's gone a lot colder, the sky's also very clear, and I'm afraid it may not get properly dark tonight. However, I've got a couple of different tricks I want to try, so I'm fairly optimistic that we'll bag a few rats. Right, it seems I've made the mistake of trying to be too clever here in the past. I've persevered using liquidised baits like liquidised cat food and even liquidised trout pellet, working along the theory that if I'm using those runny baits, the rats have to stop and lap them up, and that gives me time to compose the shot and take them with headshots. It works perfectly well on farms, but it's not working here, and that's because of this stuff. The trout are fed pellets several times a day, and it's inevitable that it's going to get dropped on the ground. Those rats know that they can always find a substantial meal there. Now, we turned over to pellets using piles of them towards the end of our last session, and it produced much better results. So this evening I'm going to try using pellet from the outset. We know there are rats living in the banks here, and in fact there are even some ratty footprints in the soft mud around that edge, so that's a spot that's definitely worth baiting up. Right, last time they were completely demolishing this stuff, so I'm not going to be shy with the amount of pellets we put out tonight. We haven't just gone raiding the feed bins without asking. We've got the fishery owner's permission to use their fish meal pellets to bait out the rats. Right, there's a really busy run there, and I don't doubt that there's rats living in and amongst these pipes, so this one should be a busy one. Can't resist trying to hit one or two off of that footbridge. I'm setting up plenty of feeding stations to keep our options open, just in case the rats get cagey after a few losses. Right, the trap's set, we just need it to get dark now. But as it happens, those smelly pellets have got such pulling power that they start to work their magic before night closes in. Well, that didn't take long. Didn't even have to wait for it to get dark. It seems like the plan's working. Well, we've had two early ones. I can still just about see through the scope, but Nicky's running out of light to film by now, so we're going to switch over to the night vision camera, and I'm going to get my NV rig set up on the gun. With a couple of early rats already accounted for, I'm eager to get my night vision gear wired up and ready for the graveyard shift. I've got a feeling we could be in for a busy night's shooting. I'm going to start by heading away from the yard and targeting the feeding stations by the lakes, if the rats haven't already mopped them up. Right, there's a couple of early ones we had in the yard, spooked them a bit at that end, so what I'm going to do, set up here next to the stock ponds. I can cover that muddy bank where we threw those pellets and cover the track as well. Should be a good place to start. Scanning through the site, it looks like the rats may have spooked at the sound of our arrival, but it's not long before they're back out after those pellets. They certainly can't resist those pellets. They're a bit more fidgety than when they're on liquid baits, but they're definitely well onto them. I sit tight and keep scanning. Unsurprisingly, that kill seems to have sent the remaining rats to ground, but I'm confident they'll soon be back out. Even with the promise of a free meal, this fidgety rat is not sticking around to offer a shot. But there's no point in being too hasty. As with most air rifle hunting, patience is usually rewarded, especially if you get your preparation right. Picking up a lot of bats in the NV. It's a cold evening, but they're obviously still not hibernating yet. And it's not just the bats that are active tonight, there also appear to be plenty of rats on the move. These rats are reluctant to keep still, so I sit it out until I'm presented with a still, clear target. Even after being patient, this shot doesn't produce the clean kill I'd hoped for, but the struck rat has scrambled back onto the track and I'm able to quickly snuff it out. Needed a quick follow-up shot there. It's the beauty of using a magazine-fed gun. No fumbling for pellets. Finished it off very quickly. Even when hunting with night vision, I like to have a torch at the ready. It comes in very handy for finding your way around the chute after dark, and of course, for tasks like topping up the magazine, ready for more shots at those rats, which I hope will have ventured back out by the time I've finished. Just move back, Nicky. I'm going to check up the track. This rat is determined to have a munch at the bait pile, but it's settled with its head behind the heap, so I can't get a clear shot before it runs off. It's soon back out and makes the mistake of settling in full view. This one thinks it's safely hidden amongst the grass stems, but I can still just about thread a shot through to its head. I put quite a few bait spots on this stretch of the track, and they produce a quick flurry of action. Some of the rats are less trusting and are reluctant to venture far from the undergrowth, but others are more bold and come right out to take their fill. Right, we've had a few shots from this spot. It's gone quiet now. We'll move on up the track, see if we can't get one or two off of that bridge. There's absolutely nothing moving around the spot on the bridge, which is quite disappointing. I thought I was going to switch on and see 2 or 3 there. To be honest, I get the feeling we're probably wasting our time down this end. It's much more moving back up towards the yard, so we'll head up there and have a look. It's such a clear moonlit night that I don't even have to power up the torch to make my way back. Back to our old faithful. It's usually worth 1 or 2 rats here at the end of the session, so we'll dig in for a few minutes and see what we can do. There are definitely rats on the move here, but as is often the case when you're using pellet baits, it's not easy to get them to keep still. Right, well, we had a bit of a flurry there, but it has tailed off now, so we're going to wrap it up. To be honest with you, the conditions really are against us. There's hardly a puff of breeze this evening, so the rats can no doubt hear every sound that we're making. On top of that, the sky is ever so clear. The moon's right out and we're literally casting shadows on the ground, so as well as being able to hear us, those rats can probably see us moving about too. There have been noticeably less of them around than there were last time, but the pellets have definitely made a difference. It's a food source that they're obviously well accustomed to, and they're out as soon as they get a whiff of it. They are more fidgety than they are when they're on liquid baits, because they can obviously grab those pellets and run back into cover with them. But nonetheless, it's drawn them out and given us some shots. So all I've got to do now is pick up those rats that I can get to and get them onto the fire pit. More greedy rats brought to book there, and now it's the Airgun Show news.
This is the the Airgun Show news, brought to you by the Airgun Centre. Tickets are now on sale for the UK Game Fair. Taking place at Stony Park next July, the fair has put value for money first, with an advanced adult ticket costing £17.50. That's half of what you could have paid at this year's CLA Game Fair. The UK Game Fair is the new flagship event for field sports and promises to put shooting, fishing, gun dogs, hunting and estate management back at the heart of country fairs. Find out more at ukgamefair.com. Rifleman Firearms at Hambridge in Somerset has launched a 12-lane airgun range to run alongside its successful gun shop. The floodlit range boasts 10 80-metre lanes with more than 100 targets, plus 2 completely wind-free 60-metre lanes for zeroing. The covered shooting positions are heated and have been designed to allow shots to be taken from seated, standing, kneeling and prone positions. There's plenty of free parking and the rifleman team's usual warm welcome is assured.
We have 100 plus targets of varying challenges, varying disciplines to keep everybody, all skill sets, all disciplines engaged and involved. So the firing points are all covered. You can shoot either prone, seated or standing. The firing points are lit and heated so you can keep warm on a chilly day or a chilly evening, and the range is floodlit.
Jen McIntosh has been selected to represent Team GB at the 2016 Olympics in Rio. The 24-year-old is the most decorated Scottish female athlete in Commonwealth Games history, having won 5 medals in Delhi and Glasgow. She becomes the only air rifle shooter to travel to Rio, alongside 5 shotgunners. Edinburgh-born McIntosh finished 36th in the women's air rifle and 42nd in the 3 positions at London 2012. She described the performance as disappointing, but said it has made her even more determined to shine in Rio. And finally, Basque has added more benefits to its membership package. First, a special deal is now available at 28 gun shops through Omni Capital. The deal allows you to spread the cost of your next big buy through Omni Capital's retail finance function. There's also a discounted rate on car rental through Enterprise. Basque said its members had already saved £2.25 million on cars this year. That was the Airgun Show news.
We've got a fun gun on the test bench for a change this week. It's the Iceman Co2 pistol from Crosman. It's a punchy, multi-shot fistful of fun that should lend itself brilliantly to backyard plinking. So let's take a closer look at it. With a price tag of just £80, the Iceman certainly makes air gunning accessible. And thanks to its composite casing, it weighs just 380 grams. It's very easy to use and features include an accessory rail beneath the barrel and stippled grips. Loading a CO2 capsule is simple. Use the thumb recess to flip off the left-hand side of the grip and then push off the right-hand side to expose the housing. Push in a CO2 capsule, neck end first, and then tighten down the piercing wing clockwise to tap into the capsule. Push the grips back into place and the job is done. The Iceman runs an 8-shot magazine and fires either steel BBs or 177 caliber wasted pellets. To access the magazine, push the barrel latch forwards to pop it open and the magazine then pulls straight out. If you're loading up with pellets, make sure you have the grey cap facing towards you and the ratchet teeth facing away. Then push the magazine back in with those teeth facing away from you and snap the barrel back down. The trigger is simple but effective. It feels reassuringly heavy, yet its breaking point is still easy to predict. And I'm pleased to say that the Iceman also features a very sturdy crossbolt safety catch. Although you could fit a laser to that accessory rail, the open sights provide fast, easy target acquisition. The rear element is adjustable for windage. Simply slacken off the locking screws with an Allen key and then drift it either left or right accordingly before locking it back down. The Iceman's semi-automatic action makes it perfect for fast-fire tin toppling. it goes off with a gratifying pop, and you can expect about 60 shots from a CO2 capsule. The rifled steel barrel produces reasonable groups at 10 metres, certainly tight enough for hitting cans. It's not going to win any competitions, and I don't regard this gun as being powerful or accurate enough for humane pest control. However, the Iceman isn't pretending to be a match pistol or a hunting piece. It's an out-and-out plinker designed with an emphasis on enjoyment and affordability. So, that's an overview of the Iceman. It's a proper fun gun that offers the kind of simplicity that got most of us hooked on airgun shooting in the first place. It's lightweight and affordable, but it doesn't feel cheap. If you're looking for a close-range plinking pistol that won't break the bank, this little Crosman won't disappoint. That's all we've got time for this week, but we'll be back again in a fortnight. Thanks for watching, and please don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And if you aren't already a member of the BASC, have a look at their website and check out the benefits you could be taking advantage of through Airgun membership.